Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to National Card Making Day. I try to participate in this every year. It's not like there's a big contest somewhere that goes on, but just knowing that other card makers like me who enjoy this paper craft are out there making cards today is just a wonderful thing to be a part of. So I had several things going on. First of all, Crafty Al's Sheetload of Cards comes out on the first of every month, and on the second of every month, she and her creative team put together the process videos, and this was a really amazing sketch this time, and I always enjoy them. And there will be a link to her YouTube video below, and I strongly suggest that you watch that if you're going to do this, and take advantage of the PDF being available at the beginning of the month the way it is. She's just absolutely fantastic for doing that for us. Lots of special instructions. So there's always one page that's like this, and then the other page has the cutting guide so that you can follow along and follow along with the video, so that but without having to remember all the numbers. And so that was what I did. And I have everything pre-cut, and you're going to see why in here in just a moment. But this is where all of my inspiration came from this time. And I always want to make sure that I give credit where credit is due, and there is definitely credit due to Alicia for making this available to us. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. The task that I had two things going on right now in my crafting world. One is I have a large bunch of holiday cards that I'm working on, and you'll find a playlist for that here on my channel, Random Crafty Acts, and that's a project that I need to have done by the end of the month. The other thing I needed to do, I know it's just so cute, you can hardly stand it, but Alicia's card ends up looking like this as far as the fold is concerned. Okay, and I've got an envelope here somewhere. All right, and it's an A2 size card when you get it done, so it fits in here. My great-grandson is getting ready to turn 3 next month, and so my granddaughter Kaylin and I always work together to design his the invitations to his birthday. Now he's out in Washington State, so I'm in Southern Illinois. So the idea of going out there for his birthday is not something I can typically do, but I do enjoy designing his invitations. And we've had various themes. We did Harry Potter one year, we did whales one year, but this year Decker David Boucher is into the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the dinosaurs, and they needed to be read. So I found this image online, and I worked with my silhouette, and you'll see that I made one more change here. But this part, which goes along with the way she has it set up. Okay, you did scoring and all of that, and I'm going to do some of that for you here in just a minute. And then I cut the pieces here, and then I cut a little bit of a background there to bring in red, because since red is his favorite color. And then when you turn it over, glued to one side is the information on when the birthday will be. And I always leave this blank because, I mean, she has to work with her schedule. Okay, but the advantage then, and I hope you get a good image of this, the advantage then is that this stands up. Okay, and I think that I think Decker will enjoy seeing this standing like on the mantle at their house, and we'll probably, I don't know, I may try to do some other birthday party decorations or things. Okay, so this was just getting all of the embellishments together for this was, of course, a major project, and but it's one I really enjoyed. Okay, so I'm going to make one of these just so you can see how this goes. So the first step, and this is something that it really makes a difference that you, excuse me, that you cut these the way she says here. You have to work with an 8 1/4, not the 8 1/2, and 5 1/2. Okay, so my first attempt, I didn't notice that, and nothing came out the way I wanted it to. Right, so then the other thing, and there's a lot of detail in her video, so please look at that. Okay, so the other is to score it at 2 inches. This is a scoreboard, okay? And that is my blue tape that makes sure I'm still in frame. Okay, so you score it at 2 inches. There are lots of different scoring tools out there. I suggest you find one that works for you. She even in her video shows you how to do this if you don't have a scoring tool. Okay, at 2 inches and at 3 inches. Okay, then you flip it. Make sure it's up in there. 2 inches, and the scoring part is working well with this because this is craft paper. This is a heavier craft paper. Okay, and then I think I remember this right. I'm just going to lay that there while I think on this. Okay, this is the piece for the back. So I'm going to go through and glue some of the other pieces together. National Card Making Day is something that is, I don't know that it's necessarily sponsored by scrapbook.com, but I do know that last year they were able to collect by the 10th of October. So it's on October 4th, which is what today is. And by the 10th of October, something like almost 26,000 cards, if I read it correctly. Okay, this is going to go on the back. Okay, these pieces are going to go on here, and that piece, and we're going to slide that up, and there'll be a little piece off the bottom that I need to cut off. So I'm doing this, and she does not call for a mat in her design, which is fine. I mean, I just because it was this last remaining piece of dinosaurs. I mean, I love my great-grandson, but I'm really kind of hoping that next year we're into something else, because I've used up all of the dinosaur paper I bought, and I'd really like to not buy any more. Because you know how it is. As soon as you buy it, it's like, oh no, he doesn't like that anymore. No, he likes basketballs, you know. So, and that's where a lot of the tools I have here, like a silhouette and those kinds of things, come in really handy. I will also put together for her some thank you notes with some of these pieces I have left over. And then my time limit is she wants to mail these out, I think, by the 3rd week of October. So these need to go in the mail to her next week. Okay, so those pieces go there. Okay, so when I first started dealing with the dinosaur, I used the outline tool. And it looks okay, but I think it looks better without the trim around it. So this did not have so much detail in it that my silhouette wasn't able to handle it. There's a couple of these edges that are a little rough, but that's all right. And of course, he needs a birthday hat, right? Okay. Okay, so now we've got our pieces ready. All right, so if I remember right, it's a mountain fold and then a valley fold. We're going to test this here in a second. It's a mountain fold and a valley fold, with the part that this is like, If we were embossing, this I think is the debossed edge. Anyway, it's the edge that we dug in. And then I'm only grabbing my cutting board because it's got the best ruler situation on it for me. So then see, that's 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm gonna double check it on the envelope, because the last thing you want is to get it done and then go, oh great, it won't fit in the envelope. Okay, so that's 4 1/4. Okay, so then the next thing that really helps is to use your bone folder, which is just a hard piece of plastic. You probably have, if you haven't bought one, you've got other tools you could use, and I think they refer to this as burnishing. I personally call it squishing. Okay, so you squish this down. I have gone so far as to do this with my fingernail that I don't necessarily recommend that. Okay, so you want good, clean edges there. Okay, so now we're going to glue this and leave just, a hair of an outline there. And since this is directional paper, I had to be very careful how I did my cutting. She talks about that in her video, as well as do several of her creative team. Okay. Then we're going to put this in the center. All right, and I didn't put an edge around this one. I guess I could have, but I had a lot going on the front as it was, so I didn't feel like it needed it. Okay. And then this little guy doesn't have a name. I haven't asked. Okay. Now, the thing about this is when you glue him, and anything to do with this, you want, it's okay if it sticks out over this. Okay, what you don't want is to glue anything so it is stuck down on here onto this side, otherwise your fold won't work. Okay, so I put all of my pieces into this container, which I borrowed from my husband's workshop. I think it maybe had screws in it or something, and I cut the top off of it. And you find the tops like here. All right, so always be creative with the tools you use. Okay, and see, I'm going to set that and let that dry because I wasn't paying attention. Glue will dry. Okay, so we want this to go like here, but remember we don't want glue on the bottom of this side, so we want to glue just on this side. Okay, I did all these things on my silhouette. All right, and then I have a whole bunch of balloons that I also made on my silhouette. These are made in the colors that were requested. Actually, no, I just started grabbing paper and cutting out balloons. I think I ended up with enough to do 4 on each card. And so I'm just kind of setting these down on this side, for a little bit of extra decoration. Okay. And this is just 65-pound cardstock. In case it comes up, I don't think this dinosaur paper is available anymore. I think it said Paper Studio on the back. It was actually the last piece I had. Way back when he first got interested in dinosaurs, I bought a set, I think, from Echo Park. And I used all of that up. Okay, so then the next decision you make is, which side do you want to attach this to? Okay, so I decided that I like it attached on that side, but you can attach it on the back of the other side. But the attaching idea is you only want it, you only want your glue or adhesive so that it doesn't go beyond here. I use liquid glue. I have double-sided adhesive. I have just, I'm not really good at lining things up sometimes. So I like what's called wiggle room. Okay, these pieces, if I remember correctly, are 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and then again, I just made this a little smaller and she can fill that in. Okay, so there we go. And it comes out of the envelope. You could add something in here. Again, I pretty much ran out of this paper. I think I even photocopied some to make the project work. But you could add another piece in there, and I'm not saying I won't. It's just right now, I kind of feel like I've done about all I want to do with this, but we'll see. Okay. The other thing is, I figured one of the things when she sends out birthday information is, like the people she sends them to like to know Decker's current sizes and all that. And she could write that message in here. She could write messages with this particular sketch. You could write messages here. I've done one set of thinking of you cards for my cards that will go in before the end of the 10th. Okay. All right. So there we go. And that part went together pretty quick. I will tell you that this project has taken probably 3 days to get together, but most of that time, the majority of that time, was involved in designing, which for me is actually the part that takes the most care. And see how much better it looks without the white outline around it. I went back in and recut everything this morning. I could have gone in and fussy cut those, but yeah, not my forte. Okay. All right. So there we go. And again, let me show you. This is referred to as a fun fold. Okay. And just so you can see this, and you don't need to take a screen print of this. You can go into her YouTube here, YouTube, call me Crafty L, one word, and you will be able to print this out, and then have this. And again, do watch the videos, because there were some kind of things about doing some of the cutting that was important this time. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. And if you're a card maker and it's October 4th, I hope you're out there making cards. Other than this situation, I donate all my cards to Cards for Kindness, which is through scrapbook.com, and they are a major hub for distributing our donated cards out to all kinds of organizations, from hospitals to assisted living to the military, and they have a site, and I will list that below. And they're a great group for your donated cards. Okay, thank you very much, and keep coming back. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you would do that. That does help push these beginning card maker videos out there to other card makers, and that's really helpful. Thanks.